for the Alchemist Theater Company's production of You Can't Take It With You. This is a 3-act show, meaning there will be a 15-minute intermission after Act 1 and a 5-minute intermission after Act 2. During these intermissions, you can purchase food from our kitchen or 50-50 tickets. During the second intermission, we will announce the 50-50 winners. Please turn off all cell phones and no flash photography, for it will distract the performers on stage. We would like to thank Mr. Harris, Mr. Haber, Mrs. Marks, and Mrs. Suchaki for their immense help on the show. Our next performance is Theater Review 2019, and we hope you get to see that too. Thank you and enjoy the show.
My, that kitchen's hot.
What, Essie?
I said, that kitchen's awful hot. That new candy I'm making, it just won't ever get cool.
Do you have to make candy today, Essie? It's such a hot day.
Well, you see, I got all these new waters. I'd been out yesterday and got a bunch of new waters.
My, if that keeps on, I suppose you'll be opening up a store.
That's what Ed was saying last night. But I said no. I want to be a dancer.
The only trouble with dancing is, it takes so long. You've been studying such a long time.
Only 8 years. After all, Mother, you've been writing plays for 8 years. We started about the same time, didn't we?
Yes, but you shouldn't count my first 2 years because I was learning to type.
I think the candy's hot enough now, Miss Essie.
Oh, thanks, Rheba. I'll bring some in, Mother. I want you to try it.
Did you finish the second act with Sycamore?
Huh? What?
I said, did you finish the second act with Sycamore?
Oh, no, Rheba. I've just got Cynthia entering the monastery.
She was at the Kit Kat, wasn't she?
Yes, but she gets tired of the Kit Kat Club, and there's this monastery, so she goes there.
Have they let her in?
Oh, yes. I made a visitor's day, so of course anybody could come.
Oh.
So she arrives on visitor's day and just stays.
You mean she stays all night?
Oh, yes. She stays 6 years.
6 years? My, I bet she bust that monastery wide open.
6 years later.
Mrs. Pinna.
Yeah?
Mrs. Pinna, will you bring up one of those new skyrockets, please? I'd like to show them to Mrs. Sycamore.
Sure.
Now take a look, Penny. Look at these little firecrackers we just made. We can sell them 10 strings for a cent. Listen. Neat, huh?
Yes. Paul, dear, were you ever in a monastery?
No, I wasn't. But wait till you see the new skyrockets. We've got gold stars, then blue stars, then bombs. Oh, and then a balloon. You see, Mrs. DePinna thought of the balloon.
Sounds lovely. Did you do all that today?
Oh, sure. We made up all sorts of... here we are. Now, take a look, Penny. It costs us 18 cents to make, but we can sell them for 50. Let's say, Mrs. DePinna, how many do you figure we can make before the 4th of July?
Well, we've got 2 weeks yet. When are you taking this stuff up to Mount Vernon?
About a week. Oh, come on, we're not through yet.
Well, look, Mr. Sycamore, you see, I'm afraid the powder chamber is just a little bit close to the balloon.
Well, we've got the stars and then the bombs in between.
But that don't give the balloon time enough. The balloon needs plenty of time.
I suppose you're right. Let's go down to the cellar and try it.
All right.
Mrs. DePinna, if a woman you loved entered a monastery, what would you do?
I don't know, Mrs. Sycamore. It's been so long.
Mrs. Sycamore, is Rosal's gonna be home for dinner tonight?
What? Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Huh. Well, I'll set a place for her, but she's only been here once this whole week.
Yes, I know.
Kolenkhov, that'll make 6, and then we have Mrs. Pinna, Salas, that'll make 8. Yeah, I think I better set for 8.
Rheba, I think I'll put this play away for a while and go back to the war play.
I've always liked the war play. Boom, boom.
They'll be better when they're harder, Mother. But try one. I want to know what you think.
Oh, they look lovely. What do you call them?
I think I'll call them Love Dreams.
Yes, that's nice. I'm going back to my war play, Essie. monastery, and I can't get out.
Oh, well, you'll figure it out. Remember how you got out of that brothel? Hey, the snakes look hungry. Could Rheba feed them?
Oh, I don't know. Rheba, did you feed the snakes yet?
Oh, not yet. Donald's coming, and he always brings flies with him.
Well, be sure to feed them before Grandpa gets home. You know how fussy he is about them.
Yes, ma'am.
Believe I'll have another love dream.
Mrs. Pinna was right about that balloon. Way too close to the powder.
Want a love dream, Father? They're on the table.
No thanks. I gotta wash.
Oh, I'm going back to the war play, Paul.
Say, that's wonderful. I think we're gonna put the red stars after the bombs and then the balloon. That ought to do it.
You know, Mr. Kolenkhov says I'm his most promising pupil.
You'd think that with 40 monks and one girl, something would happen.
Essie. Hey, Essie. Listen to this.
Oh, I like that, Ed. Did you write it?
No, Beethoven.
Lovely. Got a lot of you in it. I made those new candies this afternoon, Ed.
Yeah?
You can take them around tonight.
Alright, here's the big finish. This is me. How is that, Essie?
That was fine, Ed. Remember when Kolenkhov comes, will you?
Ed, dear, why don't you and Essie have a baby? I was thinking about it just the other day.
I don't know. We could have a baby if you wanted us to. What about it, Essie? Do you want to have a baby?
Oh, I don't care. I'm willing if Grandpa is.
You should go ask him later.
Labor play, religious play, sex play. I know it's in here someplace.
I was right about the balloon. It was too close to the powder.
Hey, Mr. Pinna, need anything printed? How about some more calling cards?
No thanks, I still got the first 1,000.
Well, call in somebody, will ya?
All right,
Oh, Rheba, what's for dinner tonight? I'm ready to print the menu.
Let's see, we've got cornflakes, watermelon, some of those new candies Miss Essie made, and some sort of meat. I forget.
I think I'll set it up in bold-faced Cheltenham tonight. You know, if I'm going to take those new candies around, I better print up some descriptive matter after dinner.
do you really think anybody reads those things, Ed, that you put in the candy boxes? Oh, here's the war play. Poison gas. That must be Donald. Look at Reba smile.
The boyfriend, eh, Rheba?
They're oddly cute, Donald and Reba. Sort of like Mickey and Minnie.
Hello, Rheba.
Donald.
Evening, everybody.
Hi,
Good
Donald.
evening.
How have you been?
Oh, I've been good, Mr. Ed. How have you been, Mr. Sycamore?
Very well, thank you. Donald,
Yes, ma'am.
were you ever in a monastery?
No, I don't go no place much. I'm on relief, you know.
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, Reba, I caught a big mess of those flies today. Give me 1 minute, it's stuck in my jacket. Oh, there it is.
You sure did.
I see you've been working, Mr. Sycamore.
Yes, indeed.
How's Grandpa?
He's fine. He's over at Columbia this afternoon. The commencement exercises.
My, did you certainly do roll around?
Why does he go there for, anyways, Penny?
I don't know. It's so handy. Just around the corner.
Oh, Donald. Mrs. DePinna and I are going to take this stuff up to Mount Vernon next weekend. Do you think you could help us out?
Yes, sir, only I can't take no money for it. If the government finds out I'm working, they'll be sued.
Oh, Ed, I was reading Trotsky in the bathroom just now. It's yours, isn't it?
Yeah, I left it there.
Who is it?
You know, Trotsky, the Russian Revolution.
Oh.
Anyhow, it struck me it was a great fireworks idea. Do you remember the last days of Pompeii?
Oh, yes, Palisades Park. That's where we first met.
Yes, well, I'm going to do the revolution, a full-hour display.
Say,
Oh, that's wonderful.
The red flag's of fire, huh?
Oh, sure, and the Tsar and the Cossacks
and the freedom of the slaves?
No, Donald, the Russian Revolution. Hello, Grandpa.
Oh, you should have been there. That's all I'll say. You should have been there.
Was it a nice commencement, Grandpa?
Oh, wonderful. They get better every year. You have no idea how lucky you are, your snakes.
Big class this year, Grandpa? How many were there?
Oh, must have been 2 acres. Everybody graduated and, much funnier speeches than last year.
You want to hear a good speech? You ought to listen to Father Divine.
Oh, wait. They'll have him at Columbia.
Donald, will you go into the kitchen and tell Rheba that Grandpa's home now and we won't be waiting for Miss Alice?
Yes, ma'am. Rheba, Grandpa's home. We can have dinner now.
Wait till you see the new skyrocket me and Mrs. Pinna made today. It's wonderful.
Evening, Grandpa.
Evening, Mrs. Pinna. Didn't we make a fine rocket today, Mrs. Pinna?
We certainly did.
Say, I wonder why they don't have fireworks at commencements.
Oh, they don't make enough noise. You take a good commencement orator and he'll drown out a whole carload of fireworks and say just as much, too.
Graduates ever say anything?
No, they just sit there in their caps and nightgowns, and along about 30 years will go by, and they'll ask themselves, where am I?
Oh, hello, Grandpa. Have a nice day.
Hello, have a nice day. Don't I get kissed?
Excuse me, Grandpa.
I'll take a tomato, too. Could have used a couple of these this afternoon.
Father?
No thanks.
Mother?
No thanks, dear.
Play something, Ed.
There was a letter that came for you, Grandpa.
A letter for me? Well, I don't know anybody.
It's for you, though. Had your name on it.
Where is it?
Oh, I don't know. Mother, where's Grandpa's letter?
What? Oh, I don't know. I remember seeing it by the snake tank.
Well, who is it from? Did you notice?
Yes, it was on the outside.
Well, who was it?
Oh, United States government.
Wonder what they want.
There was one that came before that, too. There's a couple of them.
Well, if any more come, I hope you give them to me.
Yes, Grandpa.
I think I'll go out to Westchester tomorrow morning to do some snake hunting.
God is the state. The state is God.
What's that?
God is the state. The state is God.
Who says that?
Trotsky.
Oh, that's fine. I thought you said it.
It's good for printing, you know. Nice and short. G-O-D space I-S space.
And so the beautiful princess came into the palace and kissed her grandfather
Hello, darling.
and her father and her mother. And what do you think? They turn into the Sycamore family. Surprised?
Oh, Alice, I like
Do
it.
you?
It's new, isn't it?
Looks nice and summery.
Where'd you get it?
Oh, I took a walk during lunch hour.
You've been taking a lot of walks lately. Why, that's the second new dress this week.
Well, I just like to brighten up the office every once in a while. I'm known as the K. Francis of Kirby and Co. Well, what's new around here in the way of plays, snakes, ballet dancing, or fireworks? Well, Dad, I bet you've been down in that cellar all day.
I'm going back to my war play, Alice.
Really, Mother?
Ed, play Alice that nice Beethoven thing you wrote.
You know, you can send a letter all the way from Nicaragua for just 2 pesos.
Really?
Kenneth, my virginity is such a priceless thing to me.
Listen, people! Listen. I won't be home to dinner tonight. A young gentleman is calling for me.
Really? Who is it?
Well, isn't that nice?
I did everything possible to keep him from coming here, but he's calling for me.
Why don't you two both stay for dinner?
No, Mother. I want you to take him in easy doses. I've tried to prepare him a little, but don't make it any worse than you can help. Don't read him any plays, Mother. And don't let a snake bite him, Grandpa, because I like him. And I wouldn't dance for him, Essie, because we're seeing the Monte Carlo Ballet tonight.
I can't do anything. Who is he, the President of the United States?
No, he's Vice President of Kirby & Co., Mr. Anthony Kirby Jr.
The boss's son.
Wow. Well, the boss's son, just like the movies.
Well, that explains the new dresses.
I'm not being home to dinner for 3 weeks.
Why, Sherlock Holmes.
Are you going to marry him?
Oh, of course, tonight. Meanwhile, I have to go up and put on my wedding dress.
Is he good looking?
Well, yes, in a word. Oh dear, what time is it?
Oh, I don't know. Anybody know what time it is?
Mrs. Pinna might know.
It was 5 o'clock a couple of hours ago.
Oh, I ought to know better than to ask you people. Will you let me know the minute he comes, please?
Of course, Alice.
Well, yes, I know, Mother, but I mean the minute he comes.
Why, of course.
Be sure.
Well, what do you think of that?
She certainly seems to like him if you ask me.
I should say, she's got it bad.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if she married him? Well, I could have the wedding right in this room.
Well, come on now, Penny. This is the first time he's ever called for the girl.
You only called for me once.
Well, young people are different nowadays.
Oh, I don't know. Look at me and Ed. He came for dinner once and just stayed.
Anyhow, I think it's wonderful. Don't you, Grandpa?
She certainly seems happy about it.
He must be crazy about her. Maybe he's the one that's been taking her out every night. Oh, that must be him. Oh, never mind, Rheba. I'll get it. Now, everyone remember what Alice said and be very nice to him.
All right, let's have a look at it.
Well, welcome to our little home. How do you do? I'm Alice's mother. Come right in. We've been expecting you. Come right in. That's Grandpa. That's Alice's father, Mr. Sycamore. Alice's sister, Essie. And Essie's husband, Ed Carmichael.
I'm afraid you might be making a mistake here.
How so?
My card.
Wilma C. Henderson, Internal Revenue Department.
That's right.
Well, what can we do for you?
Does, a Mr. Martin Vanderhof live here?
Well, that's me.
Well, Mr. Vanderhof, the government wants to talk to you about a little matter of income tax.
Income tax.
You mind if I sit down?
No, go right ahead.
Thank you.
Mother, is that Mr. Kirby?
Oh, no, it isn't, dear. It's just an internal, something or other. Pardon me.
Mr. Sycamore, oh, excuse me.
What is it?
These things are just not going off. Look.
Not here. Grandpa's busy.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Now, Mr. Vanderhof, we've written you several letters about this, but have not had any reply.
Oh, that's what those letters were about.
I told you they were from the government. Mr. Vanderhof, according to our record, you've never paid an income tax.
That's right.
Why not?
Well, I don't believe in it.
Well, you own property, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you receive a yearly income from it?
I do.
Of between $3,000 to $4,000.
About that.
You've been receiving it for years.
Since 1901, if you want the exact date.
Well, the government's only concerned from 1914 on. That's when the income tax started.
Well,
Mr. Vanderhof, it seems that you owe the government 24 years about income tax.
Wait a minute, you can't go back that far. That's outlawed.
What's your name?
What difference does that make?
Ever file an income tax return?
No, ma'am.
What was your income last year?
Was it $28.50? Isn't that right, Essie?
Yes, sir. If you please. Now, Mr. Vanderhof, there's quite a penalty for not filing an income tax return.
Penalty?
now, Miss Henderson, let me ask you something.
Well,
Suppose I pay you this money. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to, but just for the sake of argument, suppose I do. What do I get?
how do you mean?
Well, when I go into Macy's and I buy something, there it is. I see it. Well, what's the government give me?
Well, the government gives you everything. It protects you.
From what?
Well, invasion. Foreigners that might come in and take everything you've got.
No, I don't think they're going to do that.
If you didn't pay an income tax, they would. How do you think the government keeps up the Army Navy? All those battleships?
Battleships. We haven't used battleships since the Spanish-American War. And what did we get out of that? Cuba. And we gave that back. Now, I wouldn't mind paying if it were something sensible.
Sensible? Well, what about Congress and the Supreme Court and the President? We've got to pay them, don't we?
Not with my money, no, man.
Now, wait a minute. I'm not here to argue with you. All I know is that you haven't paid an income tax and that you've got to pay it.
They've got to show me.
We don't have to show you. I just told you all those buildings out of Washington and interstate commerce and the Constitution.
The Constitution was paid for long ago. And interstate commerce? What is interstate commerce anyway?
There are 48 states, see? And without interstate commerce, nothing could go from one state to another, see?
Why not? They got fences?
No, they don't got fences. They've got laws. My God, I've never come across anything like this before.
Maybe I'll pay $75, but that's all it's worth.
You'll pay every cent of it, just like everyone else.
Hey, Essie, listen to this.
And let me tell you something else. You'll go to jail if you don't pay. You hear that? That's the law. And if you think you're bigger than the law, you got another thing coming. You think you're better than everyone else, but you're not. And the sooner you get that through your head, the better. You're here to the United States government. That's all I can say.
Watch out for the snakes.
Ah!
How was that?
That was fine, Ed.
How'd that sound to you folks?
I liked it.
My goodness, she was mad, wasn't she?
It's not her fault, it's just the whole thing is so silly.
Well, she forgot her hat.
What size is it?
7 1/8.
Just right for me.
Who was that woman anyway?
Oh, that must be Mr. Kirby.
Better make sure this time.
Yes, I will. Well, how do you do?
Good evening.
Is this Mr. Anthony Kirby Jr.?
Yes.
Well, Mr. Kirby, come right in. We've been expecting you. Come right in. Here we are. This is really Mr. Kirby. That's Grandpa. That's Alice's father, Mr. Sycamore. Alice's sister, Essie. And Essie's husband, Ed Carmichael. There. Now you know all of us, Mr. Kirby. Now do give me your hat and make yourself right at home.
Thank you.
Is that Mr. Kirby, Mother?
Oh, yes, it is, dear. And he's lovely.
I'll be right down.
Do sit down, Mr. Kirby.
Thank you. I hope I'm not keeping you from dinner.
Oh no, have a tomato.
No, thanks.
How about a piece of candy?
No, thank you.
Oh, I forgot to introduce Mrs. Pinna. That's Mrs. Pinna, Mr. Kirby.
How do you do?
How do you do? Oh, wasn't I reading about your father in the newspaper the other day? Didn't he get indicted or something?
Hardly that. He just testified before the securities commissions.
Oh.
Of course, I'm sure there was nothing crooked about it, Mrs. Pinna. As a matter of fact, Alice has often told us what a wonderful man your father is.
Oh, well, I know Father couldn't get along without Alice. She knows more about the business than all of us.
Say, you're awfully young to be vice president of a big place like that, aren't you, Mr. Kirby?
Oh, well, you know what that means. Vice president? I just have a desk with my name on it.
Is that all? Don't you get any salary?
A little. More than I'm worth, I'm afraid.
Oh, now you're just being modest.
Sounds kind of dull to me, Wall Street. Do you like it?
Why, yes. I haven't been there very long, and the hours are short.
Just out of college, huh?
I knocked around for a while first.
Travel?
For a while, then I went to Cambridge for a year.
Ah, England. That's right. Did you see any English commencements? What are they like?
Very impressive.
They are, huh?
Well, anyhow, now I'm out and I'm facing the world.
Well, you certainly got off to a good start, Mr. Kirby. Vice president and a rich father.
Oh, that's hardly my fault.
So now I suppose you're all ready to settle down and get married?
Well, come on now, Penny. I'm sure Mr. Kirby here knows his own mind.
I wasn't making up his mind for him, was it, Mr. Kirby?
Oh, that's quite all right, Mrs. Sycamore.
You see?
Really, Mother, you mustn't rush him.
Well, all I meant was, he's bound to get married at some point, and suppose the wrong girl gets him.
Well, here I am, a vision in blue. Apparently you've had some time to get acquainted.
Oh, yes. We were just having a delightful talk about love and marriage.
Oh, dear. I'm so sorry. I came down as soon as I could.
I didn't mind in the least.
Ew, those flies in the kitchen.
Oh, Miss Alice, you look wonderful. Oh, thanks, Rheba. I'm going out.
Stepping up, huh?
That must be Mr. Kolenkhov.
I think we better go, Tony.
All right.
Grandpa, do you take cream on your cornflakes? I forget.
Half and half, Don.
Rebishka!
Oh, that's Kolenkhov, all right.
Good evening, everybody!
Good evening, Mr. Kolenkhov.
Grandpa, I have just received a letter from Russia. The second five-year plan is a failure.
I practiced today, Mr. Kolenkhov.
My Pavlova,
Well, if you'll excuse us, Mr. Kolenkhov.
my little Alice. Never have I seen you look so magnificent.
Thank you. Tony, this is Mr. Kolenkhov, our substantive teacher, and Mr. Kirby.
Good evening.
Well, if you'll pardon us, Mr. Kolenkhov, we're going to the Monte Carlo Ballet.
The Monte Carlo Ballet? It stinks.
Yes, well, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye, I'm so glad to have met you all. The Monte Carlo Ballet.
Isn't Mr. Kirby lovely? Come on, everyone, dinner.
I thought he was a nice fellow, didn't you?
And so good with looking.
And he had such nice manners. Did you notice, Paul? Did you notice his manners?
I certainly did. I'm getting pretty comfortable with him.
Oh, now, Paul. Anyhow, I think he's wonderful.
He looks like a cousin of mine.
Vascular, Nicholas. Then you have the ballet.
You know, I think if they get married here, I'll put the altar right where the snakes are. You wouldn't mind, would you, Grandpa?
Not if the snakes don't.
They're gonna want to get married in church, his family and everything.
I like a church wedding.
All right. Quiet, everybody, quiet. Well, sir, here we are. Things have been going pretty well lately, and for that, we're very much obliged. All we ask is that we go along and be happy in our own sort of way. We also want to keep our health. But as for anything else, we'll leave it to you. Thank you. So, the second time you
I could see them dance every night of the week. I think they're marvelous.
They are, aren't they? But of course, just walking inside any theater gives me a thrill.
Well, it's been so lovely, Tony. I hate to have it over.
Oh, is it over? Do I have to go right away?
Well, not if you don't want to.
I don't.
Would you like a cold drink?
Wonderful.
I'll see what's in the icebox. Want to come along?
I'd follow you to the ends of the earth.
Oh, just the kitchen is enough.
Why, I like it. You've done it very simply, haven't you?
Yes, well, we didn't know whether to do it Empire or Neo-Grecian.
So you settled for Frigidaire.
Well, yes, it's so easy to live with. Well, lucky you're not hungry, Mr. K. An icebox full of cornflakes. That gives you a rough idea of the Sycamores.
Why, of course. They make these bottle openers for singer midgets I never did all over my coat.
I'll take mine in a glass if you don't mind.
There you are. Foaming beaker.
Well, anyhow, it's cold.
Now, if you'll please be seated, I'd like to offer a toast.
We are seated.
Miss Sycamore, to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. To you.
You know something?
What?
I wouldn't trade 1 minute of this evening for all the rice in China.
Really?
Cross my heart.
Is there much rice in China?
Terrific. Didn't you read The Good Earth? Well, I suppose I ought to go.
Was it very late?
Very. I don't want to go.
Well, I don't want you to.
All right, I won't. When do you take your vacation?
The last 2 weeks in August.
Oh, I might take mine then too.
Really?
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I haven't thought much about it.
Going away, do you think?
I might not. I like the city in the summer.
I do too.
But you always go to Maine, don't you?
That's right. Oh, but I would like the city in the summertime if... You know what I mean, Alice? If you were here.
Well, it'd be nice if you were here, Tony.
You know what you're saying, don't you?
What?
That you'd rather spend the entire summer with me more than anybody else.
Was I?
Well, if it's true about the summer, then how about the winter?
Well, yes, I'd like that too.
Then there's spring and autumn. You can make your way clear about those.
I might.
That's the whole year. We haven't forgotten anything, have we?
No.
Well then.
Alice? Alice, dear, is that you? What time is it? Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Kirby. I had no idea. I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
Not at all, Mother.
That's quite all right, Mrs. Sycamore.
I just came down for a few manuscripts. Then you can go right ahead. Oh, here it is. Sex takes a holiday. Well, good night, Tony.
Good night, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, I think you could call me Penny now. Don't you, Alice? At least I hope so.
What was that?
It's all right, Tony, that's father.
At this time of night?
Any time of night, any time of day.
Darling, you're more lovely, more beautiful, more adorable than anybody else.
Don't, Tony.
What? Your mother? All mothers are like that. And Penny's a darling. You see, I'm even calling her Penny.
Look, Tony, this is something I've been meaning to tell you for a long time, but I didn't have the courage. I let myself be swept away because I loved you so.
Darling.
No, wait, Tony, I want to make it clear to you. Look, you're of a different world, a whole different kind of people. Well, I don't mean money or socially, that's too silly. But your family and mine, it just wouldn't work, Tony. It just wouldn't work.
All right, have it your way. She can't dance. That's why they pay her all that money, because she can't dance.
I don't call that dancing what she does. Oh, hello, Mr. Kirby. Hello, Alice. How was the ballet?
It was fine.
Wonderful.
Hello there.
Hello.
Now, we just saw Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Do you think she could dance, Mr. Kirby?
Why, yes, I always thought so.
Now look, you're Fred Astaire and I'm...
Oh, Essie, please.
Oh, it's okay. I'm only using him for a minute. Now look, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, Essie, you're just as good as Ginger Rogers. We all agree.
You see it?
Yeah, Essie, come on. We're butting in.
Oh, they've been together all evening. Good night, Mr. Kirby. Good night, Alice.
Good night,
Yes.
Mrs. Carmichael.
Oh, Essie, did you ask Grandpa about us having a baby yet?
Oh, yes. He said to go right ahead.
You see, Tony? That's what it would be like.
I didn't mind that. And anyhow, we wouldn't be living here. It'll just be you and I.
No, it isn't. It's never quite like that. I love them, Tony. I love them deeply. And some people could break away, but I couldn't. And I know they do rather strange things, but they're gay and they're fun and, I don't know, there's a sort of nobility about them.
Darling, you talk as though only you could understand them. That's not true. Every family has their curious little traits. My father raises orchids for about $10,000 a bulb. Is that sensible? And my mother, she believes in spiritualism. That's just as bad as your mother writing plays, isn't it?
It goes deeper, Tony. Your mother believes in spiritualism because it's fashionable, and your father raises orchids because he can afford to. My mother, she writes plays because 8 years ago a typewriter was delivered here by mistake.
What of it?
And look at Grandpa. 35 years ago, he just quit business one day. He started up to his office in the elevator and just came back down. He just stopped. And he could have been a rich man, but he said it took too much time. So for 35 years, he's just collected snakes and gone to circuses and commencements. It never occurs to any of them that...
Well, hello there, children.
Good evening,
Hello, Grandpa.
Mr. Vanderhof.
Lovely summer evening out there, isn't it?
Yes, it's just lovely.
Well, I'm off. I have a date with a policeman around the corner.
Policeman?
Well, yes, he wasn't always a policeman. He went to school to be a doctor. But one day he came to me and he said, I don't want to be a doctor. No, I want to be a policeman. So I told him, you go right ahead. And he did. Say, Mr. Kirby, how do you like my new hat?
Oh, it's very nice. Mr.
Thank
Vanderhof.
you. The governor gave it to me.
Oh, excuse me, I didn't know you folks were in here.
It's all right, Donald.
Rheba kind of fancied up some candy. I was wondering where they were. Oh, there they are. So, did you guys have a nice evening?
Yes, Donald.
Was the ballet nice?
Yes, Donald.
Did you have a nice night?
Yes, Donald.
That's nice.
How do you see what I mean? Could you explain Donald to your father? Could you explain Grandpa? You couldn't, Tony. I I love you, but I love them too, and it's no use, Tony. It's no use.
The only thing you've said that matters and that makes any sense at all is that you love me.
But Tony, I know
But
so well.
don't you think other people have had the same problem? Everybody's got a family.
But not like mine.
That doesn't stop people who love each other. You know that, right? You must. They want you to be happy, don't they? They must.
Of course they do, but they can't change, Tony. Well, I wouldn't want them to
They
change.
don't have to change. They're charming, lovable people just as they are. You're worrying about something that may never come up.
Oh, Tony, am I?
All that matters right now is that we love each other. That's so, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Well then.
Oh, Tony.
Now, I'd like to see a little gaiety around here. Young gentlemen calling and getting engaged in everything.
Oh, what do I say?
Well, first you thank the young gentleman for getting engaged to you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kirby, for getting engaged to me.
And then you tell him what it was about him that first took your girlish heart.
The back of your head.
What?
Uh-huh. It wasn't your charm and it wasn't your money. It was the back of your head. I just liked it.
Well, what happened when I turned around?
Oh, I got used to that after a while.
You know, we're pretty lucky.
I know I am. I'm the luckiest girl in the world.
I'm not exactly unlucky myself. Well, I suppose I ought to go.
Good night.
Good night. Isn't it wonderful that we work in the same office? Otherwise, we'd be hanging around here all day.
Well, won't it be funny in the office tomorrow, seeing each other and just going on as though nothing had happened?
Well, it's a good thing I'm vice president. I could dictate to you all day. Dear Miss Sycamore, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Darling, you're such a fool.
Now, why don't you meet me in the drugstore tomorrow before you go up to the office? I'll have a million things to say to you.
All right.
And then lunch, and then dinner tomorrow night.
Oh, Tony, what will people say?
Well, it's got to come out somehow. In fact, if you know a good house top, I'd like to do a little shouting.
Oh yes, Mrs. Pinna, we did a good night's work.
That's what? 500 Black Panthers, 300 militaries, and 8 dozen junior kitty bombers.
Say, that's pretty good. Oh, hello Alice, you just come in?
No, I've been home quite a while.
Did you have a nice evening?
Oh, I had a beautiful evening, Father.
That's wonderful. Say, I'd like you to take a look at this new red fire we've been working on. Mrs. Pinna, will you get the lights? I'd like Alice to get the full effect.
What, Father?
Oh, this new red fire, you have to see it. There you go. Look at that. Isn't it wonderful? What do you think?
Father, it's beautiful. Well, everything's beautiful. Why, it's the most beautiful red fire in the world.
Guys, you can take your own job.
I'm ready to begin to play, Miss Wellington. Anytime you are.
Just a minute, dear. Just a minute.
The only thing is, I hope you won't mind my mentioning this, but you don't drink when you're acting, do you?
I'm glad you brought it up. Minute the play opens, I'd never touch a drop. Minute I enter the stage door, the bottle gets put away. Until intermission.
Have you been on the stage a long time, Miss Wellington?
All my life, I've played everything. Ever see Peg in My Heart?
Yes.
Me too. Good show. Whew. My hot night, ain't it?
Say, would you like me to open the window, Miss Wellington?
No, to hell with the weather. Say, he's cute.
Rheba, she's just acting. She doesn't mean anything.
Well, whenever you're ready, Miss Wellington, we'll go up to my room and start. I thought we'd read the play up in my room.
All right, I'm ready. Whew. Oh my gosh. When I see snakes, it's time to lie down.
Oh, no, those are Miss Wellington, their grandpas. Oh dear, I hope she's not going to. Miss Wellington!
She's out like a light.
You better let her sleep that off.
Rheba, Miss Wellington just passed out.
Good! Do you think she'll be all right?
Yes, but I wouldn't cast her in the religious play.
Oh, well. I suppose I'll just have to wait.
Penny, the next time you meet an actress on the top of a bus, I'd send her the play instead of bringing her home to read it.
Oh, Ed, let's just stop printing and take those love dreams around, and she can be back in time to play for me when Kolenkhov comes.
Kolenkhov coming tonight?
Yes, tomorrow night's usually his night, but I had to change it on account of Alice.
Big doings around here tomorrow night, huh?
Isn't it exciting? You know I'm so nervous. You'd think it was me engaged to him instead of Alice.
What do you think they'll be like his mother and his father? Oh, Ed, what are you doing now?
Hey, Penny, did you see the new mask I made last night? Guess who it is?
Oh, wait a minute, Ed. Don't tell me now. It's... Helena Troy.
It's Miss Roosevelt.
You know, the great thing about these Meccano sets is you can make so many different things with them. Like last week, it was the Empire State Building.
What is it this week?
Queen Mary.
Hasn't got the right hat on.
Oh, Mr. Pinna, could you go outside to check if there's a man watching the house?
Why? What for?
For the past few days, when I went out to deliver candy, I think that a man's been following me.
Ed, you're crazy.
No, I'm not. He follows me and he stands and he watches the house.
Well, I'll take a look and see.
Really, I don't see what anyone would follow you for, Ed.
There's an awful lot of kidnapping going on, Grandpa.
Yes, but not of Ed.
Well, did you see anyone?
There's no one out there at all.
Are you sure?
Positive. I just saw him walk away.
You see...
Oh, Ed, it couldn't have been anybody following you. Nobody hurry up and get back.
All right.
Want to go down now, Mr. Sycamore, and finish packing up the fireworks?
Good idea. We're going to take this stuff up to Mount Vernon in the morning.
Mother! May I borrow some paper? I'm making out a list for Rheba tomorrow night.
Yes, dear. Here's some.
Why, what happened to your actress friend? Is she giving a performance?
No, she's not acting, Alice. She's really drunk.
Essie, you're going to give Rheba the kitchen all day tomorrow, aren't you? Because she'll need it.
Of course, Alice. I'm going to get started on the love dreams right away. That way they'll be all ready for tomorrow.
Thanks, dear. Look, Mother, I'm coming home at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Will you have everything down in the cellar by that time? The typewriter, and the printing press, and the xylophone, oh, and the snakes.
And Miss Wellington?
And Miss Wellington. That'll give me time to arrange the table and fix the flowers.
The Kirbys are certainly going to get the wrong impression of this house.
Well, you'll do all that, won't you, Mother?
Of course, dear.
And I think we better have cocktails ready by 7:15 in case they happen to come a little early. Oh, I wonder if I ought to let Rheba cook the dinner. What do you think, Grandpa?
Now, Alice, from what I've seen of the boy, I'm sure the Kirbys are very nice people. So, if everything isn't so elaborate tomorrow night, why, that'd be fine, too.
Oh, darling, I'm not trying to impress them or pretend that they're anything we aren't. I just want things to, go off well.
No reason why they shouldn't, Alice.
We're all going to do everything we can to make it a nice party.
Oh, my darlings, I love you. You're the most wonderful family in the world, and I'm the happiest girl in the world. But why, I didn't know anyone could be so happy. This past week has been like floating. Oh, he's so wonderful, Grandpa. Why, just seeing him, you don't know what it does to me.
Just seeing him, huh? Just seeing him for every lunch and every dinner, and until 4 o'clock in the morning, and 9 o'clock the next morning, you're back in the office, and there he is. Just seeing him, huh?
Well, I don't care. I'm in love. Oh, Rheba!
Nice, isn't it, to see her so happy?
Yes. I remember how happy I was when Paul and I were engaged. And you know, I still feel that way.
Nice how Ed and Essie get along too, isn't it?
And Donald and Rheba, even though they're not married. Do you suppose Mrs. Pinna will ever marry anyone?
Well, there's Miss Wellington.
Oh dear, I do wish he'd wake up. If we're going to read the play tonight,
Mrs. Sycamore, look what I found. Remember?
Oh, yes! It's my painting of you as the Greek goddess! Look, Grandpa!
Yes, I remember it. Say, haven't you gotten a bit older, Mrs. Pinna?
Is it very noticeable?
It was a long time ago, just before I stopped painting. Let's see, that's 8 years.
It's too bad you never finished it, Mrs. Sycamore.
I always meant to, Mrs. DePinna. It's just, one day I started writing a play, and that was that. I never painted again.
Just as well. I was gonna have to strip next.
My goodness, who would have thought the day I came to deliver the ice, I would stay for 8 years?
Well, the milkman stayed for 5 years before you.
Say, why did he leave anyhow? I forget.
He didn't leave, he died.
Oh, yes.
He was such a nice man. Remember the funeral, Grandpa? We never knew his name, and it was quite difficult to get him a certificate.
What was the name we made up for him again?
Martin Vanderhof. We gave him your name, remember?
Ah, yes, I remember.
It really was a lovely thought. Otherwise, he never would have gotten all those flowers.
Yes, and it doesn't hurt me at all. I'm not bothered with mail anymore. I haven't had a telephone call from that day to this.
Yes, it really was a wonderful idea.
You know, I wish you'd finish this sometime, Mrs. Sycamore. I'd kind of like to have it.
You know what, Mrs. DePinna? I think I'll do some work on it right tonight.
Say, will you?
I don't think she's going to wake up anyhow. Look, you go down into the cellar and see if you can find your costume. And see if the easel's down there, too. It's still there, isn't it?
I think so.
Now, where did I put my palette and brushes?
Rebishka, my little Rebishka.
Yes, sir, Mr. Kolenkhov. Hello, Mr. Kolenkhov. Essie's in the kitchen.
Madam Sycamore, I greet you. Grandpa, what should I do about Rebishka? I keep telling her she will make a great old dancer. But she laughs only.
No, Mr. Kolenkhov, I can't get up on my toes. I've got corns.
Rebishka, you can wear diamonds. A great job, Grandpa. What is that?
It's a picture of Mrs. DePinna. Penny painted it.
It stinks.
I know. What do you think of that?
What is that?
An actress friend of Penny's.
She is drunk, no?
She is drunk, yes. How are you, Kolenkhov?
Magnificent. Life is chasing around inside me like a little square.
Tis, huh? What's new in Russia? Have you heard from your friend in Moscow?
I had heard from him. I say for you the stamp.
Ah, thanks, Kolenkhov.
They have sent him to Siberia.
Siberia, eh? How's he like it?
He has escaped. He has escaped and gone back to Moscow. They will not get him yet if they do not get him. The Soviet government. I can take the whole Soviet government and gone!
Sorry I'm late, Mr. Kolenkhov. I'll get right into my dancing clothes.
You have really worked, Pavanor. Tonight, we will take something new.
Is he making any progress, Kolenkhov?
Confidentially, she stinks.
Well, as long as she's having fun.
You sure do tickle, Rheba. Mr. Kolenkhov, you should see her. She's laughing her head off out there.
She is a great woman. Donald, what do you think about the Soviet government?
The what?
I withdraw my question. What do you think about this government?
Oh, I like it. I'm on relief, you know.
Oh, yes, and you like it.
Yes, only you have to go round every week. Wait in the line near a half an hour. Government ought to be better than that, eh, Grandpa?
Government ought to stop sending me letters. They want me to be at the United States Marshal's office 10 o'clock Tuesday morning. Look at that.
Ah, income tax. They have got you, Grandpa.
Yes, they want me to pay a lot of money so as to keep Donald on relief.
So you're paying it now?
That's what they want.
So you mean I can come here instead of waiting in that line?
No, Donald, I'm afraid you'll have to waste a full half hour of your time every week.
Well, I don't like it. It breaks up my week.
He should have been in Russia when the revolution came. Then he would have stood in the line. A bread line. Ah, Grandpa, what have they done to Russia? Think of it. The Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina, the cousin of Tsar, is now a waitress in Child's restaurant. I ordered baked beans from her the other day. It broke my heart. A crazy world, Grandpa.
The world's not so crazy, it's the people in it. Well, life is pretty simple if you just relax.
How can you relax in times like these?
Well, if people would just relax, there wouldn't be times like these. That's just my point. Life is pretty simple if you just let it happen to you, but people forget that. I know I did. Well, I was in the thick of it, fighting and scratching and clawing. But one day I just realized I wasn't having any fun.
So you did what?
I quit. 35 years ago that was, and I've been a happy man ever since.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Kolenkhov.
I have not seen to give you my congratulations, Miss Alice.
Thank you.
May you be very happy and have many children. This is my prayer to you.
That's quite a thought.
Ah, love. Love is the only thing that is left in this world, Grandpa.
Yes, and there's plenty of that.
And soon, someone will take that too.
Seems nice to get into my art things again. They still look all right, don't they, Grandpa?
Oh, yes, indeed.
You're a breath of Paris, Madam Sycamore.
Thank you, Mr. Kolenkhov.
I didn't know you worked for the WPA.
Oh, no, Donald. You see, I used to paint all the time.
It happens again. There was a fellow following me every place I went.
Nonsense, Ed. It's just your imagination.
No, it isn't. It happens every time I go out to deliver candy.
Maybe he wants a piece of candy.
It's okay for you to laugh, Grandpa, but he was following me.
You do not know what falling is. In Russia, everybody is followed. I was followed straight out of Russia.
Of course. You see, Ed, the whole thing is just imagination.
I guess.
Here we are.
Where do you want this, over there?
Set it right here, Mrs. Pinna.
Ed, for tonight's lesson, we will use the first movement of Scheherazade.
Okay.
So?
Mrs. Pinna, has something happened to your figure these past 8 years?
No, I don't think it's any different.
Yes, Mrs. Wellington? Yes? Woo!
Oh dear. Sorry, Mr. Kolenkhov. Couldn't find my dancing shoes.
We have a hot night, my pepper lord, but art is only achieved through perspiration.
Why, that's wonderful, Mr. Kolenkhov. Did you hear that, Grandpa? Art is only achieved through perspiration.
Yes, well, it helps to have a little bit of talent with it. I only made 2 bullseyes this week. I gotta do better than that.
Grandpa!
You are ready? We begin. Now, pirouette, pirouette. You can do that. It's been 8 years now. Onto sharp. No, Grandpa, do not relax on Zara. When he said that, Zara relaxed, and what happened to him?
It was too late.
Mr. Kolenkhov! Mr. Kolenkhov!
If he did not relax, the Grand Duchess would not be selling big beats today.
Mr. Kolenkhov!
I'm sorry. We go back to pirouette.
Mrs. Pinna, did you pull in your stomach? Yes, just like that.
A little freer. With the hand, the body must work. And help us with the music. The music must be free, too.
Mrs. Pinna, you've really got quite marvelous hair. Mrs. Sycamore! Mrs. Sycamore! Straighter, Mrs. Pinna. Mrs. Sycamore! What, Rheba?
Good evening.
How do you do?
How do you?
Come on in. We're glad to have you.
Yes, of course. It's just, we thought it was to be tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
What? Don't worry about it. Just make yourselves comfortable.
Tony, how could you possibly?
I don't know, I thought it was tonight.
Well, not at all. Just don't worry about it. We weren't doing a thing.
No, just a quiet evening at home.
Yes, that's all now. Don't let it bother you. Well, this is Mrs. Sycamore, Alice's mother.
How do you do?
This is Mrs. Carmichael, Alice's sister, and her husband, Mr. Carmichael. This is Mr. Kolenkhov. And, that's Mrs. Pinna.
How do you do? Don't mind my costume. I'll take it right off.
Mrs. Pinna, would you go down to the cellar and tell Mr. Sycamore to come up right away and, tell him that the Kirbys are here.
And tell him to put his pants on!
All right. Excuse me.
Thank you.
I'll go tell Alice that you're, Alice? Alice!
What is it?
Alice, could you come down, please? We have a surprise for you.
May I take your coat, Mrs. Kirby?
Well, thank you. If you're perfectly sure that we're not...
Oh, you mustn't mind them. They're perfectly harmless.
Thank you.
Ed, take him into the kitchen.
We're just so used to having them around the house.
I'm sorry to trouble you with snakes. This happened to me.
I'm very uncomfortable about this. Tony, how could you have done such a thing?
I don't know, Dad. I thought it was tonight.
Well, it was very foolish of you, very.
Oh, no, Mr. Kirby. Anybody could get mixed up.
Yes, now, Penny, these folks came for dinner. How about some dinner?
Oh, please don't bother. We're really not hungry at all.
Oh, but it's not a bit of bother. Ed, tell Donald to run down to the A&P and get half a dozen bottles of beer and some canned salmon. Do you like canned salmon, Mr. Kirby?
Oh, no, it's all right. I have a little indigestion anyways.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about you, Mrs. Kirby?
Oh, I'm very fond of it.
You can have frankfurters if you'd rather.
Either one will do.
Well, make it frankfurters and some canned corn and Campbell soup. Got that, Ed?
Got it.
Oh, and tell him to hurry! The A&P is just around the corner, and frankfurters don't take any time to boil.
Do sit down.
Thank you.
And this is, Mr. Sycamore, Alice's father.
How do you do? I hope you'll forgive my appearance.
This is Mr. Sycamore's busiest time of the year. Right around the 4th of July, he always...
Oh! Darling, I'm so sorry. I'm the most dull-witted person in the world. I thought it was tonight.
Why, Tony, I thought you... I'm so sorry. I can't imagine why I wasn't, Have you all met each other?
Yes, indeed.
How do you do, Alice?
How do you do, Mrs. Kirby? I'm afraid I'm not very presentable.
You look lovely, darling.
Oh, of course she does. Don't let this bother you, dear. We just all met each other a night earlier.
But I was planning such a nice dinner for tomorrow night.
Then we'll just come back tomorrow.
You see? Am I forgiven?
I guess so. It's just that we better see about getting you some dinner.
Oh, don't worry about that, Alice. It's already been attended to.
But, Mother, what did you send out for? Because Mr. Kirby suffers from indigestion. He can only eat certain things.
Oh, no, it's all right. It's all right.
Of course it is, darling.
I asked him what he wanted, Alice.
Yes, but...
Oh, no, it's no big deal. Just because I have a little indigestion.
Perhaps it's not indigestion at all, Mrs. Kirby. Perhaps you have stomach ulcers.
Don't be absurd, Mr. Kolenkhov.
You mustn't mind him. He's a Russian, and they tend to look on the dark side of things.
All right, I am Russian, but a friend of mine, a Russian, died from stomach ulcers.
Really,
Please, Mr. Kolenkhov. Mr. Kirby has indigestion, and that's all.
All right, let him wait.
So now, Mr. Kirby, how do you find business conditions? Are we well out of the depression?
well, yes, but of course it all depends.
But you figure things are going to continue improving?
Broadly speaking, yes. Industry's been working at 64% of max capacity, compared to 82% of last year, of course, in 1929.
There was a young lady from who had a remarkable...
This may seem a little unusual to you folks, but she's not quite responsible for her actions. An actress friend of Penny's, she came to dinner and was overcome by heat.
Yes! It affects some people more than others, you know? I better make sure she's all right. Excuse me.
Well, it is awfully hot, isn't it? You usually escape this hot weather, don't you, Mrs. Kirby? Up in Maine?
As a rule, I had to come down this week, however, for the flower show.
Oh, Mother wouldn't miss that for the world. That blue ribbon is the high spot of her year.
I won a ribbon in a flower show once for raising an onion.
Do you remember, Alice?
That was a garden show, Essie.
Oh, right. I suppose she'll be all right now. Has Donald come back yet?
No, he hasn't.
Oh, well, I'm sure he won't be any time at all now. I'm afraid you must be awfully starved.
Oh, no, it's all right. Oh, hello. What's this? I didn't know we had small children in the house.
Oh, no, that's mine.
I see. Well, every man has his hobby. Do you use this as a model or something?
Oh, no, I just like to play with it.
I see.
Maybe... Maybe you'd be better off if you had a hobby like that, Father.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, do tell us all about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. You know, they take 6 years to blossom. Oh, think of that.
Oh, some even take longer than that. I have one I've been waiting for 10 years now.
Believe it or not, Mr. Kirby, I was waiting on an orchid once.
Well, of course, when they take the most scrupulous care. I remember a bulb I was fond of.
Oh, Donald!
Yes, ma'am.
Did you get everything, Donald?
Yes, only they didn't have any frankfurters, so I got pickled pig's feet.
Never mind that, Donald. Just bring everything into the kitchen. Oh, Mr. Kirby, please tell them all about your orchids. I'm sure they'd love to hear it. And, excuse me.
Pretty expensive hobby raising orchids, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But I believe that if any hobby gives sufficient pleasure, never expensive.
That's very true.
And of course, I need something to relieve the daily nerve strain. After a week in Wall Street, I'd go crazy if I didn't have something like that.
Why don't they just give up Wall Street?
How's that?
I was just making a joke.
I think it's necessary for everyone to have a hobby. Of course, to me, it's much more than a hobby, but my great solace is spiritualism.
Spiritualism? Oh no, Mrs. Kirby, everyone knows that's a thing.
To me, Miss Sycamore, spiritualism is, well, I'd rather not discuss it, Miss Sycamore.
Well, remember now, Penny, you've got 1 or 2 hobbies of your own.
Yes, but not silly ones.
I don't think it quite matters what the hobby is. Just so long as you have one.
To be ideal, a hobby should improve the mind as well as the body. The Romans were great people. Why? What was their hobby? Wrestling. In wrestling, you have to think with your mind and act with your body.
Well, yes, but wrestling wouldn't be practical for most of us. Even I wouldn't make a great showing as a wrestler.
Nonsense! You're built with!
Oh my God, Mr. Kirby! Mr. Kirby, are you hurt?
I'm all right. Where are my glasses?
Oh, here they are, Mr. Kirby. Oh, Mr. Kirby, they're broken.
The next time you wrestle, Mr. Kirby, you'll of course not wear glasses.
I don't intend on wrestling again, Mr. Kolenkhov.
Sit down, Father.
Mr. Kolenkhov, how could you do such a thing? Well, why didn't somebody stop him?
I think if you don't mind, perhaps we had better be going.
Mother!
Oh, please, Mrs. Kirby, please don't go. Oh, Mr. Kirby, I've ordered you scrambled eggs and plain salad and... Well, please don't go.
I know what I have done is terrible, and I apologize.
Oh, I can't tell you how sorry I am, Mr. Kirby. If I had been here.
Oh, it's all right.
Of course it is. We're not going.
Well, that was exciting for a minute, wasn't it?
So now, Mr. Kirby, you were telling us about your orchids. Do you raise many different varieties?
I'm very afraid I've forgotten about my orchids.
Oh, I'm awfully sorry, Mr. Kirby.
What did I do that was so terrible? I threw him on the floor. Did I kill him?
Please, Mr. Kolenkhov.
I'm sure dinner won't be any time at all now. Oh, do you want some candies while we wait, Mr. Kirby? I have some fresh lemonade.
No thanks, my doctor doesn't permit me.
Oh, well, it's only coconut and marshmallow, but...
Don't, Essie.
Oh, okay.
Miss Alice?
Excuse me. Oh, what is it, Rheba?
The eggs fell down the drain.
Oh, well, make some more, quick.
Well, I ain't got any.
Send Donald out for some.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and tell him to hurry.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so sorry there'll be a little delay, but everything will be out in just a minute. Whoosh!
Well, I certainly have put you people through enough tonight with my stupidity.
Not at all, Jody.
Look, why don't we all play a game of some sort while we're waiting?
I know, a wonderful trick with the glass of wine.
Oh, but I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Kirby will love this game. It's perfectly harmless.
Please, Mother.
I'm not very good at games, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, but any fool could play this game, Mr. Kirby. All you do is write your name on a piece of paper.
Mother, Mr. Kirby doesn't look like he wants to play a game right now.
Oh, I'm sure he wants to play. Here you are, Paul. Can you pass these around?
Sure.
Thank you. Here you are, Alice.
Thanks, Mother.
Now, write your name on this piece of paper, Mr. Kirby. Same goes for you, Mrs. Kirby. Here you are, Grandpa.
Mother, what is this game?
A game I used to play when I was in school. It's called Forget Me Not. Now, I'm going to call out 5 words. Just anything at all. And as I say each word, you're all going to write the first word that comes to mind. For instance, if I were to say grass, you might put down green. You see? Just anything at all. If I were to say table, you might put down chair. It shows the different reaction people have to different things. You see how simple it is, Mr. Kirby?
Come on, Father, be a sport.
Very well. I shall be happy to play it.
You see, Alice, he does want to play.
Well,
Now then, are you ready?
Ready.
Now remember, you must play fair. You must write the first word that comes to mind.
I understand.
Ready for the first one? The first word is potatoes. Potatoes. Ready for the next one? The next word is bathroom.
Mother.
Bathroom. Got that?
Go ahead.
Lust.
Mother, this is not exactly what you...
Oh, now, Alice, that word's perfectly all right.
No, Mother, it's not all right.
Oh, I don't know. It seems to me that's a perfectly fair word.
You see, Alice, now you mustn't interrupt the game.
What was that last word again?
Lust, Mr. Kirby.
I got it.
This is quite a game, isn't it?
Ha! Where was I? Oh, yes. Honeymoon. Now, Essie. Honeymoon. Now, the last word is sex. More. Everybody got sex? Now, everyone give me your papers. May I have your paper, Mr. Kirby?
What happens next?
Oh, this is the best part. Now, I read your reactions.
I see. Quite an interesting game.
I knew you'd like it, Mr. Kirby. I'll read your paper first. This is Mr. Kirby, everyone. Potatoes. Steak. Oh, those go together. You see how those go together? Potatoes and steak.
Oh, thank you. I just thought of it myself.
Mr. Kirby. Bathroom. Toothpaste. Oh, that's very good. Lust. Unlawful. Yes, that's nice. Honeymoon. Trick. Yes, it is. And sex. Male. Oh, yes, you are, Mr. Kirby.
Thank you. You know, it's more than a game. It's like an experiment in psychology.
Yes, it is. It shows how your mind works. Now let's see how Mrs. Kirby's mind works. Thank you, Essie. This is Mrs. Kirby's paper, everyone. Potatoes. Starch. Oh, I know just what you mean, Mrs. Kirby. Bathroom, Mr. Kirby.
What's that?
Bathroom, Mr. Kirby.
I don't get what you mean.
Oh, I don't know. It's just the first thing that came into my head, that's all. I don't know. I just thought of you in connection with it. After all, you are in there a good deal, Anthony. Bathing and shaving, well, you do take a long time.
Indeed. I didn't know I was selfish in the manner. Please go on.
I think this is a very silly game and we ought to stop it.
Yes.
Oh no, please go on.
Lust, human.
Human. Really, Miriam?
I just meant that lust is, after all, a human emotion.
Well, I don't agree with you. Lust is not a human emotion. It is depraved.
Very well, Anthony, I'm wrong.
Oh, really? It is the most pointless game. Suppose we play 20 questions?
Yes.
Oh, no. Please go on, Mrs. Sycamore. What was the next word?
Honeymoon,
And what was Mrs. Kirby's answer?
honeymoon, dull.
Did you just say dull?
I just meant that hot springs is not very fun that season. All those old people sitting on the porch all afternoon and nothing to do at night.
Well, that wasn't your reaction at the time, I thought.
Oh, come on, Father. This is just a game.
A very illuminating game. Please go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, this one's all right, Mr. Kirby. Sex, Wall Street.
Wall Street? What do you mean by that?
Oh, I don't know what I meant. Nothing.
Well, you must have meant something. You wrote it down.
It was just the first thing that came into my head, that's all.
But what does that mean, sex, Wall Street?
Oh, I don't know what it means, Anthony. It's just that you're always talking about Wall Street, even when... I have a very bad headache. Would you mind, terribly Alice, if we didn't stay for dinner?
Mother!
I understand, Mrs. Kirby.
Oh, but you're coming tomorrow night, aren't you?
I'm afraid we have an engagement tomorrow night.
Perhaps we should just postpone the whole affair for a while.
Father, I think we're being very ungrateful. I think we ought to stay for dinner.
Oh, I'm sure everyone understands.
Well, I don't. I think we ought to stay.
No, Tony.
What?
We were fools, Tony, ever to think it would work. It won't. Mr. Kirby, I won't be at the office tomorrow. I won't be there at all.
What are you talking about?
I'm very sorry, my dear. Are you ready, Miriam?
Yes, Anthony.
You mustn't mind this.
Oh, it must have been very nice to have met you all.
Yes, lovely.
Are you coming, Tony?
No, I'm not.
Very well. Your mother and I will be waiting for you at the house. Good night.
Good night.
Stay right where you are, everybody. Don't move.
How dare you? What does this mean? What is all this?
Keep your mouth shut, you. Which one is it?
This is him. What are you doing?
Ed.
What do you mean?
Oh, Grandpa, what's going on?
This is an outrage.
Keep him. What's your name?
Edward Carmichael, I haven't done anything.
You haven't, huh?
This all seems rather high-handed to me. What's this about?
Department of Justice.
Oh my goodness! Jacob! Ed, what have you done?
I haven't done anything.
What's the boy done, officer?
What is this? What's it all about?
Does this door lead to the cellar?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Mac, Jim.
Yes, ma'am.
Take a look upstairs and see what you find.
Okay.
As for you. Ever see these before?
They're my circulars.
You print this stuff, huh?
Yeah.
And you put them in the box with candy and get them into people's homes?
The love dreams.
Oh, I don't mean anything by them.
You don't. Dynamite the Capitol. Dynamite the Supreme Court. Dynamite the White House. God is a state. The state is God.
I didn't mean anything by it, though. I just like printing things. Right, Grandpa?
Yes, the government's in no danger from Ed, officer. Printing's just his hobby. He'll print anything.
If you will, eh?
I've never heard such nonsense.
I refuse to stay here and...
Hey, let me get my pipe, will you? Let me get my pipe. Shut up, you. You're right, Chief. There's enough gunpowder down there to blow up the whole city.
Oh, well, yes, but we only use that for the fire.
Keep still. Every single person in this house is under arrest.
Now, look, Your Honor, we're all talking about nonsense.
You better let me get my pipe. I left it. Shut up, all of you.
It seems to me,
There was a young lady who had a remarkable.
That's my mother.
There was
For an appearance in the West Side Court this morning, after spending the night in jail, defendants 13 in all were brought before Judge Callahan and given suspended sentences for manufacturing fireworks without a permit.
Yeah, they can't be in the same cell as this burlesque dancer from a street show.
Well, I was in the same cell as Mr. Kirby. Why, he was mad.
The burlesque dancer and Mrs. Kirby's been fighting all night.
Whole lot about Mr. Kirby here. Anthony W. Kirby, head of Kirby & Co., 62 Wall Street. Among those apprehended, he was in no way interested in the manufacturing of the fireworks and refused to state why he was on the premises at the time of the raid. Mr. Kirby is a member of the Union Club, the Rapid Club, the Harvard Club, and the National Geographic Society. My, he certainly is a joiner.
Call them rich folks or elks or something.
I suppose after all of this, Mr. Tony ain't never gonna marry Miss Alice, huh?
Nah, it's such a shame. She sure loves that boy.
Too bad, ain't it?
It sure is. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with all that food.
Well, I'm hungry.
Well, they ain't. They're all too broken up because of Miss Alice.
Where's she wanna go away for anyways? Where's she going?
Someplace in the mountains. And I know she's going. When that little girl gets that look in her eyes, there ain't nothing stopping her.
Too bad, ain't it?
It sure is.
Not even a balloon left. Look,
Oh, Mr. Vega, how's your hand doing? Better?
it's better. Is there any more olive oil in there?
Yeah, in the salvo.
Thanks.
Well, she's gone. Nothing anybody said could change her.
Oh, my Sycamore. Is she gonna be gone for long?
I don't know, Rheba, she won't say.
It sure is going to be lonesome without her here.
How you feeling, Mrs. Sycamore?
Oh, I'm all right, Donald. Just a bit upset. Perhaps if I do some work, I'll feel better.
Well, then I better leave you alone then, Mrs. Sycamore.
She's going.
I know.
Oh, now, Penny.
I can't help it, Paul. Somehow I feel this is all our fault.
It's mine more than yours. Look, all this time I've just been going around enjoying myself. Well, I should have been thinking more about Alice.
Don't say that, Paul. You've been a wonderful father. And a husband, too.
No, I haven't. Look, maybe if I'd gone and been an architect, I don't know, something Alice could really be proud of. I felt that last night, looking at Mr. Kirby.
But we've been so happy, Paul.
I know, but it isn't enough. I used to think it was, but I'm all sort of mixed up now.
What time is she going?
Pretty soon, the train leaves at 7:30.
Oh, if only she'd see Tony. I'm sure he could persuade her.
It's no use. He's been trying all day.
Where's he now?
I don't know, probably going around the block again, but she won't talk to him, see?
Oh, maybe he can catch her. She's leaving.
It won't work, Penny.
No, I don't suppose so. You know, I feel so sorry for Tony, too. Well, Grandpa?
Now, Penny, leave the girl alone.
But Grandpa!
Suppose she goes to the Adirondacks. You can only take so much of the Adirondacks and then you come home.
But it's all so terrible, Grandpa!
Yes, but it has its bright side, too.
How do you mean?
Well, Mr. Kirby getting into the patrol car, for one thing. And the look on his face when he and Donald had to take a bath together. I'll never forget that if I lived to be 100. And I warn you people I intend to. If I can have things like that going on.
It was even worse for Mrs. Kirby. When the matron stripped her, there was a burlesque dancer there, and she kept singing a strip song while Mrs. Kirby undressed.
I think Bar Harbor is going to seem pretty dull to the Kirbys this summer. Need any help, Alice?
No thanks, Grandpa. I'm just going to go press these.
Alice, dear! Alice, do you want any candy to take on the train with you?
No thanks, Essie.
Really, Alice? You could be just as alone here as you could be up in the mountains. You could just stay in your room all the time.
Oh, Mother, I want to be by myself, away from everyone. I love you all, and you know that, but I just need to be by myself for a while. I'll be all right. Father, did you phone for a cab?
No, I didn't know you wanted one.
I told Mrs. Pinna to tell you, Paul. Didn't she tell you?
She told me, but I forgot.
Oh, I wish I lived in a family that didn't always forget everything, that behaved the way other people's families do. I'm sick of cornflakes and Donald and everything. Why can't we be like other people? Roast beef and 2 green vegetables and doilies on the table and a place you can bring your friends to without...
I'll see if I can do anything.
Tony, go talk to her. She's in the kitchen.
Thanks. But Alice, I've been trying to get to you all day. Will you just talk to me?
Tony, it's no use.
But you're not being fair. At least just listen, Alice.
Where'd they go?
Upstairs.
She left the minute he came in.
Knocked the olive oil right out of my hand. I'm gonna smell kind of fishy.
How are you feeling, Mrs. DePinna? Hand any better?
It's better.
Everything burnt up, huh? Downstairs?
Yeah, even my goddess costume.
I told you there's a bright side to everything. I'll accept my 23 years back income tax. I got another letter.
Say, what are you gonna do about that anyway, Grandpa?
I had kind of an idea yesterday. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'll try anyway.
What is it?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Mr. Kolenkhov.
Why, Mr. Kolenkhov.
You will forgive me. The door was unlocked.
Ah, come on.
I realize you are all upset.
It's all right, Mr. Kolenkhov.
I don't think I'll be up to my dancing lesson today, Mr. Kolenkhov.
Well,
Oh, but do stay for dinner. We have all that stuff in there, and, well, somebody's got to eat it.
I'll be happy to, Madam Sycamore.
Fine.
Thank you. Now, I wonder if I know you well enough to ask you a great favor.
Well, of course, Mr. Kolenkhov. What is it?
You had heard me talk about my friend, the Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina. How she was the cousin of Tsar, and now she is a waitress in China's restaurant, Times Square.
Yes, I know. If there's anything I can do, Mr. Kolenkhov.
I'll tell you, the Grand Duchess has not had a good meal since before the revolution.
Look, she must be hungry.
And since the Grand Duchess has her day off Thursday, it is also the anniversary of Peter the Great, and a remarkable man.
Mr. Kolenkhov, if you're meaning to tell us you would like the Grand Duchess to come here for dinner, why, we'd be honored. Yes!
In the name of the Grand Duchess, I thank you.
Oh, I can hardly wait to meet her. Where's she now?
She is outside. I bring her in.
Essie, straighten your dress and your tie. How do I look? All right?
Well, if things like this keep happening, I want to live to be 150.
The Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina. Highness, permit me to present Madam Sycamore, Madam Carmichael, Rampa, Mr. Carmichael, Mr. Sycamore, and Mrs. Pinna.
Oh.
All right, now that's enough, Mrs. DePinna.
Will you be seated, Your Highness?
Thank you. You're most kind.
It's an honor to receive you, Your Highness.
I'm most happy to be here. How soon is dinner?
Oh, it'll be quite soon, Your Highness. Very soon.
I do not mean to be rude, but I must be back at the restaurant by 8 o'clock. I'm substituting for another waitress.
I'll make sure you're on time, Your Highness.
Thank you, Kolenkhov.
You know, Your Highness, I think you waited on me once at the child's restaurant, the one on 72nd Street place.
No. That was my sister.
The Grand Duchess, Natasha.
I work in Times Square.
So there are a lot of your people living over here now, aren't there?
Oh, yes, many. There is my uncle, the Grand Duke Sergei. He's an elevator man at Macy's. A very nice man. Then there is my cousin, Prince Alexis. He will not talk to the rest of us because he works at Hattie Carnegie. He's in ladies' underwear.
He was selling hot dogs at Kolenkhov, and he was willing to talk to you.
Oh, Kolenkhov, our time is coming. My sister Natasha is studying to be a manicurist. Uncle Sergei, they've promised to make floor walker. And in the next month, I get transferred to the 5th Avenue Child. From there, it's only a step to Schraub's. And then, we will see Prince Alexis sex.
I think you got it.
You're telling me.
Your Highness, did you know Tsar? Personally, I mean.
Oh, of course. He was my cousin. It was terrible what happened to him, but perhaps it was for the best. Where could he get the job now?
Florida, that is true.
And poor relations are poor relations. It is the same in every family. My cousin, the King of Sweden, he was very nice to us for about 10 years. Every once in a while, he would send a money order. Then he said, I just cannot go on. I'm not doing so well myself. I do not blame him.
No, of course not. Would you excuse me for a moment?
Your Highness, can you tell me, is it true what they say about Rasputin?
Everyone wants to know about Rasputin. Yes, my dear, it is true. And how?
You don't say.
Your Highness, we have to watch the time.
Oh, yes. I must not be late. My manager does not like me. He's a communist.
Oh, we'll hurry things up, Your Highness. Essie, why don't you go into the kitchen and see if you can help Rheba?
I'll help too. I'm a very good cook.
Oh, but Your Highness, not on your day off.
I do not mind. Where is your kitchen?
Oh, well, it's right through here, but you're the guest of honor, Your Highness.
Oh, but I love to cook. Come, Kolenkhov. If they've got sour cream and hot cheese, I'll make you some blintzes.
Ah, blintzes! Come, Babylon! We will show you something.
Say, the Duchess is all right, isn't she? Hey, Duchess, can I help?
Gee, she's got a wonderful face for a mask, hasn't she?
Yes. She's a very nice woman, you know, considering she's a Grand Duchess and all.
Yes, wonderful what some people can go through and still keep kind of gay, isn't it?
Yes. She made me forget about everything for a moment.
Better call that cab, I suppose.
Wait, Paul, here they are. Maybe Tony has.
Ed, will you go up and bring my bag down?
Don't do it, Ed.
Ed, please.
Fine. You know you have the stubbornest daughter in all 48 states?
That must be the cab.
If it is, it's certainly a wonderful service.
Hello, Alice. Is Tony here?
Yes, yes he is. Come in, Mr. Kirby.
How do you do?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Forgive my intrusion. Tony, I want you to come home now. Your mother is very upset.
All right. Goodbye, Alice.
Goodbye, Tony.
I hope you forgive me, but it's as painful to Mrs. Kirby and I as to you all. I hope you understand.
Well, yes, I do, Mr. Kirby, but, in a way, no. Now, I'm not the kind of person who goes around trying to run other people's lives, but I don't think these young people have as much sense as, say, you and I have.
Grandpa, will you
Or
please
just
not?
talking. A cat can fit a cane, can't she?
Do you want me to do that for you, Alice?
No thanks, Mother.
You've got a while before the train leaves, Alice.
Will you send the cab to 761 Claremont right away, please? Well, that's right. Thank you.
Alice.
Father.
Are you ready, Tony?
Now, Mr. Kirby, I'm sure that after last night, you think this family is, well, kind of crazy.
Oh, not necessarily. I'm just not accustomed to going to dinner and then spending the night in jail.
Well, you must remember, you came on the wrong night. Well, tonight, I suppose, nothing would happen at all, maybe.
Oh, last night wasn't the only reason that convinced Mrs. Kirby and I that this marriage would be unwise.
Father, I can handle my own affairs. For the last time, Alice, will you marry me?
No, Tony. I know exactly what your father's saying. He's right.
No, he's not.
Now, Alice, you're in love with this boy, and the only reason you're not marrying him is because we're the kind of people we are.
Grandpa.
I know you think the families wouldn't get along, but who's to say that they're right and we're wrong?
Well, I didn't say that, Grandpa. I only feel that.
I feel that Tony's too nice a boy to wake up 20 years from now with nothing in his life but stocks and bonds.
How's that?
Yes, mixed up and unhappy the way you are.
I beg your pardon? I'm a very happy man. Are you? Certainly I am.
I don't think so. Where do you think you get your indigestion from? Happiness? No, sir. You get it because you spend your time doing things you don't want to do.
I don't do anything I don't want to do.
Really? Because last night you said yourself that by the end of a week on Wall Street, you're pretty near crazy. So why keep on doing it?
Why do I keep on doing it? Why, it's my business. A man can't leave his business.
Why not? You've got plenty of money. Can't take it with you.
Well, that's easy for you to say, but I spent my entire life building my business.
And what's that got you? Same kind of meetings, same kind of deals, same kind of dinners, same indigestion. Where does the fun come in? I'm sure you must have wanted more when you started out, Mr. Kirby. There must be more than that. We haven't got much time left, any of us.
Well, what do you expect me to do? Do what you do and do nothing?
Well, I have plenty of fun. Time enough for everything. Read, talk, visit the zoo now and then, practice my darts. I don't see anyone I don't want to, and I don't have 6 hours of things I have to do before I can get 1 hour of things I want to do. I haven't taken bicarbonate soda in 35 years, and what's the matter with that?
What's the matter with that? Well, suppose the entire world did that too. Fine world, everyone going to zoos. Well, that's just ridiculous. Who would do the work?
There are always people who want to do the work. You can't stop them. Inventions, and they fly the ocean. But from what I've seen of you, Mr. Kirby, I don't think you're one of them. I think you're missing something.
I'm not aware of missing anything.
Well, I wasn't either until I quit. I used to be just like you. I used to get down to that office at 9 o'clock every morning. I used to lie awake at night, wondering if I would get that contract. I used to worry about the world, whether Cleveland or Blade would be elected. It seemed awful important at the time, but it doesn't matter now. What I'm trying to say, Mr. Kirby, is that I've had 35 years that no one can take away from me, no matter what they do to the world, see?
Yes, I do see, and it's a very dangerous philosophy. Why, it's un-American. That's why I don't want Tony in this marriage. I don't want him under this influence.
And what's the matter with it?
What's the matter with it? It's downright communism.
You didn't always think so.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You didn't always think so because there was a time when you wanted to be a saxophone player.
Don't be an idiot, Tony.
Oh, not only that, a trapeze artist. I came across those letters you wrote to Grandpa. It's all there.
No, how dare you read those? How dare you?
Oh, that's wonderful. Did you wear tights, Mr. Kirby?
Certainly not. It was just something I had when I was 14.
Yeah, and the saxophone player happened when you were 17.
Tony.
And at 21, you ran away from home because Grandfather was forcing you to go into the business. It's all there in black and white. You didn't always think so.
Well, they were just silly notions I had when I was little. Thank God my father knocked them straight out of me and I went into the business. Forgot all about them since.
Not altogether. There's still a saxophone in the back of your closet.
There is? We'll just talk about this when we get home.
No. I want to talk about it now. And you know something? Mr. Vanderhof is right. He's dead right. I've never wanted to go into the business. I've hated it ever since I stepped foot in the door. And you know something else? I brought you here last night on purpose. I knew it was the wrong night.
Tony!
Well, for heavens!
And you know why I brought you here? Because I wanted to wake you up. I wanted to show you a family just as they are. A family who cares about one another and who loves each other and who understands. You've never understood me because you've never had the time. So I'm clearing out.
Clearing out? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about I don't want to go into the business. Just because I'm your son doesn't mean I have to do that. So I'm clearing out while there's still time.
Well, then what are you going to do?
I don't know. Maybe I'll be a bricklayer. At least I want to do it.
That must be the cab.
Tell them to wait a minute, Ed.
Oh, Grandpa.
Do you mind, Alice? Now, Mr. Kirby, Tony is just going through the same things that you and I did when we were his age. I'm sure that deep down you can hear yourself saying the same things to your father 25 years ago. We all did, and we were right. How many of us settled for what we eventually get? All those dreams, what happens to them? There are only a select few who can say they even came close. So before they clean out that closet, Mr. Kirby, I'd get in a few good hours on that saxophone.
I beg your pardon, but before I meet the princess, how many will there be for dinner?
Your Highness, Mr. Anthony Kirby and Mr. Kirby Jr., the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina.
How do you do?
How do you do? Now, before I meet the princess, how many will there be for dinner?
Oh, I made quite a stack of them, you can never tell.
Good. The Tsar always said to me, Olga, do not be stingy with the princess.
Who'd you say that was again, Mr. Vanderhof?
The Grand Duchess Olga Katrina. She's cooking the dinner.
How's that?
Speaking of dinner, why don't you and Tony both stay?
Oh, please do, Mr. Kirby. We have all that stuff we were going to have last night. I mean, tonight.
Yes, it looks like it's going to be a wonderful dinner. Why not stay?
What do you say, Father? Are we staying for dinner?
Tony, I'd be glad to.
Thank you. Now, Grandpa, if Alice will call off that cab.
How about it, Alice? It looks like it's going to be a nice crowd for dinner. The family should get to know each other. Why not stay?
I'm staying, Alice.
Oh, Mr. Kirby. Oh, Tony. Grandpa, you're wonderful.
I've been telling you that for years.
There's a letter in the icebox for you, Grandpa. Oh, hello, Mr. Kirby.
How do you do?
I'm okay.
Now, why don't you step into the office with me? I'd like to do a little dictating.
I'd better go tell that cab.
Well.
What is it, Grandpa?
The government. I don't know them in Nicole. It seems I died 8 years ago.
What was that?
Remember the milkman buried under my name?
Yes?
Well, I simply explained to them that I am Martin Vanderhof Jr. And they've made a mistake. They're very sorry, and I may even get a refund.
Why, Grandpa, you're an old crook.
Oh, sure.
Excuse me. How'd you say you avoided income tax again?
That, my friend, you are going to eat.
Well, why, hello there. How do you do?
Fine. How do you do?
Fine, thank you.
What has happened here?
He's relaxing. Play something, Ed.
Everything will be ready in a minute. You can all sit down now.
Come on, everyone. Dinner. Come on, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, I'm coming.
Essie, stop dancing and come over for dinner.
That was the Adirondacks.
Shut your face, Mr. Kirby.
You will like Russian food, Mr. Cassidy. In Russia, when they say...
Okay, quiet. Well, sir, here we are again. Things have been going pretty well. It looks as if Alice is going to marry Tony, and it looks like they're going to be very happy. Of course, all the fireworks burned up, but that was Mrs. DePinna's fault. It has nothing to do with me. Of course, we want to keep our health, but as for anything else, we'll leave it to you. Thank you.
Well,
Yeah,
you guys
I-
have